My mother gave 3 of my 5 bedrooms to my sisters without asking me, called me a walking wallet in the family group chat, and the day before they were supposed to move in, I changed every lock and installed security cameras. The family group chat exploded at 2:47 a.m. I was in Tokyo for a design conference. I'd just finished presenting to a room of 500 people about sustainable architecture and innovative living spaces. I was exhausted, exhilarated, and ready to sleep for 12 hours. Then my phone buzzed. My mother had posted a photograph in the family group chat, a photo of my house. My new house that I'd just closed on 3 weeks ago. My house that I'd spent 2 years saving for, that represented everything I'd worked for, that was supposed to be my sanctuary and my investment property. In the photo, my mother was standing in the front foyer with my 3 sisters behind her. They were all smiling. And the caption read, "Girls, welcome to your new home. I've given you each a bedroom upstairs. You can start moving in tomorrow. This is going to be such a wonderful arrangement. Your sister has so much space, and you all need somewhere to live. Family helps family." I read that caption 3 times. My name is Candace, and I'm 29 years old. I have a master's degree in architecture. I work for a major design firm. I make $145,000 a year. And I had just made the single largest financial investment of my life, a $2.1 million house with 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a future that I'd carefully planned. My mother had given 3 of those bedrooms to my sisters without consulting me. Without asking. Without even acknowledging that this was my house. Let me explain what this house meant to me. For 12 years, I'd lived in apartments. Tiny spaces with paper-thin walls and landlords who ignored maintenance requests. I'd worked my way up from entry-level designer to senior architect. I'd been promoted twice. And the entire time, I'd been saving $500 a month for the first year. $1,200 a month once I got promoted. $2,800 a month by the time I was 28 years old. I'd attended every open house in Seattle. I'd studied market trends. I'd learned about property appreciation and equity building. I'd dreamed about owning something that was completely mine. This house was that dream. It was a 1920s craftsman in a neighborhood that was being revitalized. It had original hardwood floors and built-in bookcases and a kitchen that looked out onto a garden. It needed work, sure. The roof was aging. The electrical system wasn't up to current code. The plumbing was temperamental. But it was mine. AITA closed on the property exactly 22 days before my mother decided to give 3 of my bedrooms to my sisters. The closing process had been intense. The inspection had revealed $47,000 in necessary repairs. I'd negotiated with the seller. I'd scraped together a down payment. I'd gotten a mortgage that I'd spend the next 30 years paying off. And I'd done it alone. No help from my family. No cosigner. Just me and my ability to be responsible with money. Then my mother walked into my house. Without asking. Without permission. And she gave it away like it was hers to give. I started scrolling through the comments. "This is so perfect," my sister Megan had written. "Thank you, Mom. Moving in tomorrow. I can't believe Candace is letting us do this," my sister Katie had written. "She's the best." Letting them? I muttered. I didn't let them do anything. Then came the comment from my youngest sister, Nicole, "I'm so grateful to have somewhere to stay. Mom is amazing for organizing this." And finally, the comment that made my blood actually boil. My mother had written, "Candace is so generous. She's always been like this, just a walking wallet who works for her sisters. It's time we took advantage of that generosity. Her house is the perfect solution for all 3 girls." A walking wallet. My own mother had called me a walking wallet. In a group chat with my entire family. On the public record of family communication. I needed to understand the context. Not to justify it, but to understand how we'd arrived at this point. Megan is 31 and works part-time as a yoga instructor. She makes approximately $28,000 a year and has never prioritized saving money. She spends what she has and expects to be rescued when she runs out. Our mother has rescued her financially for the past 5 years. Katie is 27 and recently ended a relationship. She'd been staying with her ex-partner, and now she was homeless. She has a bachelor's degree but hasn't held a job for longer than 8 months. She's charming and creative and completely irresponsible with money. Nicole is 24 and just finished college. She hasn't started her career yet. She's living in our mother's house, trying to figure out her next steps, which mostly means avoiding the adult world while pretending to be on a spiritual journey. My mother loves her daughters. I don't question that. But her love for my sisters has always been expressed as financial rescue. And financial rescue teaches people that they don't have to be responsible for themselves. I was the exception in this family. I'd been taught, by my father before he died, by necessity, by my own personality, that I needed to be responsible for myself. That nobody was going to solve my problems except me. I was also the exception in that I'd built something. I'd worked hard. I'd saved money. I'd bought a house. And my mother had decided that my house should be redistributed to my less successful sisters. I was still reading comments from my bed in Tokyo, half a world away from my house, when my mother called. A walking wallet. My own mother had called me a walking wallet. In a group chat with my entire family. I was still reading comments from my bed in Tokyo, half a world away from my house, when my mother called. "Sweetheart, the girls are so excited," she said, her voice absolutely radiant with the kind of satisfaction that comes from making a major decision about someone else's life without their input. "They're planning to move in tomorrow. Megan is bringing her furniture this afternoon. Katie is shipping her belongings from her ex-boyfriend's place. Nicole is—" "Mom, stop," I interrupted. "I didn't agree to this. I didn't give you permission to give my bedrooms to my sisters." There was a pause. Like my mother was genuinely confused by the concept that I might object to having my property redistributed. "But you have so much space," she said finally. "The girls need somewhere to live, and you're not using those bedrooms." "I own the bedrooms," I said, keeping my voice very level. "I decide what happens with them. Not you. Not my sisters. Me." "You're being selfish," my mother said. And now her voice had taken on the particular tone that mothers use when they want to make you feel guilty for having boundaries. "Your sisters are struggling. They need help. And you have the resources to provide that help." "Providing help and having my home invaded without consent are two different things," I said. "They're your sisters. This isn't an invasion. This is family." "Family," I said carefully, "doesn't get to make decisions about my property without asking me. Family doesn't decide that because I have bedrooms, those bedrooms are available for redistribution. Family doesn't call me a walking wallet and then expect me to be grateful for the opportunity to house them." My mother's voice changed. Now she sounded defensive. "That was a joke. You're taking that too seriously." "It wasn't a joke," I said. "It was a statement about how you see me. As a financial resource rather than as a person. As a means to solve your other daughter's problems. As a wallet that walks around in a human form." "I didn't mean it that way," my mother said, but her tone suggested she absolutely did mean it that way and was now just upset that I called her on it. "It doesn't matter what you meant," I said. "It matters what you said. And what you said is that you see me as a resource to be used. Well, this resource has withdrawn from service." "Well, I've already told them they could move in," my mother said. "And they're expecting it tomorrow. You're going to have to be the one to tell them it's not happening if you want to change things." "I'm not going to tell them anything," I said. "I'm going to change my locks and install security cameras. And if they try to enter my house, I'm going to call the police and report trespassing." My mother actually gasped. "You would do that to your own family?" "I would do that to anyone who tried to occupy my house without permission," I said. "Being related doesn't change that." She hung up. I sat in my Tokyo hotel room and I understood something very clearly. My family had no respect for my autonomy. They had no respect for my boundaries. And they had no respect for my property. I had 22 hours to do something about it. I called the lock company at 6:47 a.m. Tokyo time, which was 3:47 p.m. the previous day in Seattle. "I need someone to come change the locks on my house today," I said. "All of them. Front door, back door, garage, bedroom doors. I need it done in the next 4 hours." The lock company said they could do it. I called a security company. I asked them to install a high-definition security system with cameras covering all entrances and the interior hallway. "This is urgent," I said. "I need it installed today. I'm willing to pay rush fees." They said they could do it. Then I called my lawyer. I explained the situation. I explained that my mother had committed what could reasonably be described as fraud by representing to my sisters that they had the right to occupy my house without my permission. "This is a civil matter," my lawyer said. "You own the house. Your mother has no authority to give anyone access to it. If she's told your sisters they can move in without your consent, that's a problem she created. But the solution is straightforward. They don't have the right to enter your house, and you can legally prevent them from doing so." "What if they show up and refuse to leave?" I asked. "Then you call the police and report trespassing," my lawyer said. "Your house, your property, your rules." By 8 a.m. Tokyo time, the locks had been changed. By 10 a.m., the security system was installed. By noon, I had live feeds from 4 different cameras showing my empty driveway. I posted a message in the family group chat. "I need to be clear, my house is not available for occupancy by anyone except me. I did not give my mother permission to offer my bedrooms to my sisters. I did not agree to having roommates. I own this property, and I have changed the locks. If anyone attempts to enter without my permission, I will contact the police and report trespassing. This is not a negotiation." The family group chat erupted. My mother, how could you be so cruel to your own family? My sister Megan, you're being insane. Mom said we could live there. My sister Katie, this is so selfish. What did we ever do to you? My sister Nicole, you have 5 bedrooms. How is it even normal to use them all yourself? My brother-in-law, maybe you should reconsider. Family is more important than property. My aunt, your mother is devastated. You've humiliated her. I watched these messages come in while I was having lunch in Shibuya, and I felt something release inside me. Anger, yes. But also clarity. These people did not respect me. And I had spent my entire life trying to earn their respect by being generous, accommodating, helpful. And all it had done was teach them that I would accept boundary violations. I responded with one message. I have a lawyer. I have changed the locks. I have installed security cameras. If anyone attempts to enter my house without permission, I will prosecute to the full extent of the law. This is not a discussion. My flight from Tokyo landed in Seattle at 4:33 p.m. local time. I drove directly to my house. There was a moving truck in my driveway. My sisters and my mother were standing on my porch, staring at the new locks like they were a personal betrayal. Candace, my mother called out as I pulled up. What is this? What have you done? I got out of my car and I looked at my family standing on my porch like they had the right to be there. I changed the locks, I said. I installed security cameras. And I'm asking all of you to leave my property. You can't do this, Megan said. Mom promised us we could live here. Mom doesn't own this house, I said. I do. And I did not give permission for any of you to live here. You need to leave. This is cruel, my mother said. You're being absolutely cruel to your own family. What's cruel is deciding to move 3 people into my house without my consent, I replied. What's cruel is calling me a walking wallet in a family group chat. What's cruel is treating my home like it's a community property instead of respecting that I own it. Family helps family, my mother said. Families also respect each other, I said. And this family clearly doesn't respect me. So no, I will not be providing housing to any of you. My mother's face went red. You are going to regret this. You are going to regret treating your family this way. Perhaps, I said. But I will regret it while living in my own house. Alone. In peace. That's a trade I'm willing to make. I unlocked my front door with my new key. I walked inside. I closed the door. And I watched on my security camera as my family stood on my porch for another 10 minutes before finally leaving. My mother called me 17 times over the next 3 days. I didn't answer. My sisters sent increasingly hostile texts. I didn't respond. My aunt called claiming there was a family emergency and that I needed to come to my senses. I blocked her number. By the end of the week, the family had decided that I was a villain. I'd become the selfish daughter who'd abandoned her family. I'd become the ungrateful sister. I'd become the person who'd chosen property over people. What they didn't understand, what they didn't want to understand, was that I hadn't chosen property over people. I'd chosen my own autonomy over their entitlement. My lawyer sent a formal letter to my mother explaining that she had no authority over my property and that any further attempts to grant access to my house to unauthorized occupants could result in legal action. The letter was very clear, very professional, very final. 6 months later, I was having coffee with my brother, Marcus, who'd had the good sense to stay out of the family drama. Mom wants to reconcile, he said. She asked me to reach out. She's claiming that she was trying to help and that you overreacted. Did she apologize for calling me a walking wallet? I asked. No, Marcus admitted. She said that was a joke that was taken out of context. It wasn't a joke, I said. And it wasn't out of context. She was describing how she sees me. As a financial resource rather than as a person. I know, Marcus said. That's why I stayed out of it. Mom has always treated you differently. And I think you were right to set boundaries. Thank you for that, I said. But, Marcus continued, I also think you should consider whether there's any version of reconciliation that works for you. Not reconciliation where you accept her behavior. But reconciliation where you're clear about what you will and won't accept. I thought about that. A year after the lock change, I agreed to have dinner with my mother. We met at a neutral location, a restaurant neither of us had been to before. We sat across from each other, and I could see in her face that she'd aged. That the family conflict had worn on her. I'm sorry for how I handled things, I said. I wasn't going to let her open first. I wasn't going to give her the chance to perform victimhood. But I need you to understand something, you have no authority over my property. You have no right to make decisions about my house. And I will not accept that being treated as a given in our relationship. I was trying to help your sisters, my mother said. I understand that, I said. But helping my sisters doesn't mean violating my boundaries. It doesn't mean calling me a walking wallet in a family group chat. And it doesn't mean expecting me to be okay with having my home invaded. They needed somewhere to live, my mother continued. That's sad, I said, but it's not my responsibility to solve that by sacrificing my own home and my own autonomy. I have boundaries, and you're going to have to respect them. What does that mean for our relationship? My mother asked. It means I'm your daughter on certain conditions, I said. I will be kind to you. I will be generous with you. But I will not accept being treated like a resource instead of a person. I will not accept my property being discussed without my input. And I will not accept being called names in family group chats. My mother was quiet for a long time. I can try, she finally said. I can try to respect that. Good, I said. Because if you don't, our relationship will end. And I hope you'll understand that I don't say that as a threat. I say it as information about what I will and won't tolerate. 2 years after the lock change, my mother still occasionally makes comments about me being generous with space or mentions my house like she thinks I should open it to the family. But when I establish the boundary, she actually respects it now. My sisters eventually moved in together. They got their own place. They're building their own lives. And they no longer under the impression that I'm supposed to solve their problems by sacrificing my own comfort. The relationship with my family is quieter now. Less dramatic. Less intense. But more honest. I installed a guest suite in one of my bedrooms. I occasionally have family members stay over. But it's on my terms. It's when I invite them. It's with clear expectations about duration and behavior. This is what boundaries actually look like, not rejection, but clarity. My mother learned that. Eventually. Not because I punished her into learning it, but because I was willing to walk away rather than accept her disrespect. The house is still mine. All 5 bedrooms, all 3 bathrooms, all the square footage that I worked for and paid for and own completely. And I use it exactly as I choose. The thing about being called a walking wallet is that it forces you to decide, are you actually a walking wallet? Or are you a person with boundaries? I chose to be a person with boundaries. And I locked the door to make sure that choice was respected. The end.